Hi Fantasy Managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. So in this video we're following up on the early wildcard draft that we did last weekend. We've had the FA Cup results come in, we know who's playing in the final, so those fixtures have been moved around. We've got double game weeks that have been announced, players coming in and out the sides, so lots of things to consider. So the wildcard team has changed quite a bit. We of course will go through the normal statistical analysis of all the players that we've chosen in this wildcard draft. We'll then at the end of the video have a look and see how it will look longer term going through game week 35, 36, 37 and 38. How does it affect those double game weeks, and maybe any changes you might want to make if you're free hitting in those. So stick around for that. Give it a like. If you've got any comments, if you are wildcarding, let us know who you consider as essential for your side, or if you're free hitting as well at some point in the future, let me know when you're considering doing that. Don't forget to obviously subscribe, and in the meantime, lots to get through, guys. Let's have a look. On screen then we have the fixtures for game week 34. Only thing that's changed since last week is that Manchester United Chelsea game has been moved out of game week 37 and now it's going to be played at the end of game week 34. So last fixture on the Thursday, you can see there. So that means both Manchester United and Chelsea are doubling in 34. What's interesting as well, Chelsea doubled 6-2. So Chelsea do have a couple of decent fixtures going into 34. Chelsea away at Manchester United, of course, and at home to West Ham. Man United probably more difficult away at Arsenal and Chelsea, and the way they're playing at the moment, possibly not a team I would be interested in given their form and the fixtures they have up coming in the long run. So reasons to wildcard, I'll quickly go through these. There's good double game week fixtures coming in for 36 and 37, one of the biggest double game weeks of the year. You could possibly look to bench boost. If you've still got your bench boost, now's a good time to set it up for that double game week 36. You're effectively, as opposed to some people who are going to be free hitting in 36, you're really setting up a side that can do that in 36 by wildcarding now and taking some advantage of those other fixtures as well. Get rid of some of the deadwood. Some of you, like myself, you may still have some Wolves players knocking around. Arsenal fixtures don't look quite as appealing as they used to, so it's a good chance to be able to get rid of some of those players that were good for 28, 29, 30, but no longer wanted on our side. And lastly, now we have the double game week 34, so it's a really good opportunity to attack some of those Chelsea assets in particular. And as we said, what's new is that Chelsea and Man United now double in 34. And we got Manchester United blanking in game week 37. I'm not sure how much of an influence or how much that would change what we were going to do anyway, but there is new information for us to digest. We still don't know quite exactly a confirmation of when Southampton Liverpool game will be moved. We know that's got to be arranged. It looks, for all intents and purposes, it's going to have to be game week 37. Just it will take them for that weekend when the FA Cup final will be taking place with Liverpool being in against Chelsea, and just move to the midweek game. But again, that's quite a nice fixture, you think, for Liverpool to be able to target Southampton at this moment in time. What we still don't know is when Manchester City and Wolves will be playing each other. Will it be 36? Will it be 37? But we can start to put some sort of players in place in order to take advantage, especially if City are going to be doubling one of those weeks. What was interesting was that the initial wildcard side we had here, it was quite expensive, I think. Some of these players you may have already owned, so it was a case of just being able to, it wouldn't be quite expensive because you would take the profit on these. But a lot of these players do not survive, actually, when I've looked at the new wildcard because of those fixture changes. Some of them will, and we'll have a look and go through them in a minute. But it's always interesting to look to see how much changed in a week. Like I said, I'd say 7 or 8 of these players did survive, but there's a few who haven't, and we'll go through their stats for you in a second. Starting off in goal, then we have Kasper Schmeichel, followed by Lewis. Lewis is just there as a cheap, non-playing goalkeeper to save budget. If you do have more at the end, and you may have more budget than I have allowed for, then I think, yeah, upgrading him to someone like a Greater wouldn't be a bad shout. I've gone for Kasper Schmeichel, and I've ummed and ahed about it a lot, because defensively Leicester's record has not been great. They haven't prioritised in the league for the rest of the season. That's just going to be Europa Conference. They've got nothing else to play for, so there'll be heavy rotation. For that reason, really, Schmeichel's about the only player who's going to be nailed on in that Leicester side, and I do want to get on board with those fixtures. Villa at home is not a bad fixture. They've got that cracking double game week in 36, followed by another one in 37. So those fixtures just look too good to ignore. Schmeichel's about the only one I can rely on to definitely get involved with it. And granted, second worst expected goals conceded in the last 5 games. That's not good at all. Save points is the only thing you can really put up an argument for Schmeichel. He's still averaging 4 points, which isn't bad. But if he can pick up 3 or 4 points from those extra fixtures, that makes it enough for me. And then on top of that, there's the potential of Leicester getting clean sheets because they have underperformed this season. They've got a lot of defenders coming back as well. So I would pin my hopes on Schmeichel. I just think his fixtures are too good to ignore. Schmeichel and goal. If you can afford a better backup keeper than Lewis, absolutely go for it. Watford's fixtures aren't that bad, so possibly Foster, can't believe I'm saying it, could be an option. Looking at defence, then, I really like the defence. Laporte, then, they do have that game against Wolves to rearrange, so that will pop in there somewhere. So they may have a double week in 36-37, we don't know yet. But other than that, I mean, look at those green fixtures. Laporte, again, just about as nailed as we can possibly get. Diaz is coming back, Stones is available, Ake's picked up a knock, so you would have thought Laporte will feature heavily in these last remaining few games, given how important it is to Manchester City. Reece James, another one, his clean sheets do worry. But look at those fixtures, a double in 34, a double in 36. Again, how much is he going to play? If you want to talk about Chelsea assets, then obviously I've done a video the other day about them and how much time they might play and how they've done this season. Reece James, we know how good an attacking threat he can be though, and some of those fixtures look really good. If they can come and sort of sort the defence out a little bit more, there's clean sheets galore as well, you think. But Reece James, when he's fit and firing, has to be in anyone's side. Matty Cash, again, I think for the reason they've got decent fixtures, away at Leicester won't be easy, but then at home to Norwich, double game week 36 and double game week 37, I think they've got possibly the pick of the double game weeks in 37, so that looks really nice. Digne not being fit, so Cash comes in there as an attacking fullback, I really like it. Matip is my Liverpool sort of player to cover. Konate's been playing in the Champions League. Matip then plays in the league. He seems to be reserved for almost exclusively. I do blank in 37. However, they have got that match against Southampton, which we think will go in 37. So that's not a bad side to target either at the moment. Great fixture against Everton in 34. And obviously they've got double in 36. And bringing up the rear, then we have Davis. I think he's cheap. He's nailed in that Tottenham side. And I think double in 36. And they've got three really good fixtures either side of that. So, Laporte, in terms of expected goals conceded, Manchester City just the best at the moment. He doesn't offer a lot going forward. He has contributed this season, but he's not even for his attacking prowess. You wouldn't have thought. He's just there to pick up those clean sheets. Reece James, 5.12. Look how far behind they are, Manchester City, but still not bad. And we know what he has just got, that attacking potential. Matty Cash, 0.2. And Villa being fairly tight as well over the last 5 games. Expected goals conceded. Matip, second best, again, doesn't offer a great deal going forward. And there's Davis again, 7th in terms of expected goals conceded. Did get on the score sheet the other week. If he gets another one like that, it'll be absolutely quids in. But at the moment, you don't expect too much attacking returns from him. That makes up the defence. And then midfield, Jacob Ramsey, I just think, again, 4.72, that sort of price. I'm just thrilled to get on board with those fixtures that we've talked about already. Mo Salah, just not negotiable. He absolutely has to be in. Then I've gone for the double of Chelsea in midfield. With those fixtures, you've got James, then you've got Havertz and Mount. I think Havertz has just had... He brought off at half-time 2 games ago, and then he was rested also for the last game against Arsenal. So, for my money, he makes him a really good bet to start the next few games. West Ham and Man U, do you get both games out of him? And playing up front as a midfielder for Chelsea, and his stats are just unbelievable at the moment. So many fixtures, don't have the Champions League distraction either. He looks a good option. No one's played more minutes than Mount in midfield for Chelsea, so again, he looks good. Though you would expect him to get his rest sometime soon. And then Huminson has to come in at front. I just don't think you can have anyone else instead of him. He's just an absolute non-negotiable. He's got to be in there. So Jacob Ramsey, 20 points in the last 5 games. Not bad at all. Decent sort of a breakthrough season for him. 6 goals, 1 assist. Mo Salah doesn't need any introduction. Not even going to go through that. Havertz, look at his expected goal involvement in the last 5 games. Over a goal. Almost up there with Salah-esque returns. 7 goals, 3 assists. 31 points. Still not quite hitting Salah. But Salah does have those penalties, remember. But those figures are just brilliant for Kai Havertz playing up front for a Chelsea side too. Maybe conceding goals, but they are scoring them as well. And then Mason Mount, 0.74. His figures made to look really paltry compared to everyone else's. But again, he's just had a great season. And 41 points over the last 4 games. Really impressive. And Huminson, wow. Again, 0.83. Really impressive. Look at how many goals he's got. Look how many points he's got in the last 5 games. Just ridiculous. Up front then, I have gone, he's a new one's coming in, Nketiah. I just think he's going to get his chance to start playing in the first team now. 5.4, as you'll see in a minute, I think he'll be benched for a few of these games, but just having a backup striker playing at that price with what it enables you to do elsewhere in the squad, absolutely. The other one, Mateta, he's played 5 out of the last 6 and some great fixtures there for Crystal Palace as well, especially in 37. And then Harry Kane up front, just can't, again, non-negotiable. He comes in, we know what he can do. The double's not great in 36, but he's just got to play. Figures, Nketiah isn't that bad at all, 0.7. Remember, a lot of those are going to come off the bench. I think he's featured in the last 12 Premier League games. Most of those come off the bench. I think he started the last 2 because Lacazette's not there. But Arteta's certainly come out and praised him and said he's been overlooked somewhat and we've been treating him unfairly. So suggestions are, potentially with him and Lacazette out of sort of contract towards the end of the season, that he might get more of a run in. So he got his 2 goals against Chelsea, but good stats in terms of expected goals in the last 5 games. Maybe it's a bit skewed because he's taking advantage of sort of tired legs as he comes onto the pitch. Harry Kane absolutely has to come in. And then Mateta, decent stats as well. He didn't, like I said, he didn't start the last one. Maybe that was a rest and a good sign for the rest of the season, but he's got some 4 goals, 1 assist. Again, good return, 5.3. What enables you to do with the rest of the squad? I think he's definitely got to come in. So this is how the side shapes up. All we're spending is 103.4. I think that's affordable for most. If you can go more, like I said, there is a chance of a Harry Lewis to be dropped out and a better keeper to put in. But I really like this side. Sometimes it's an issue in terms of who's actually going to drop out the team. I mean, my wildcard team for game week 34, looking at it, I've got 3 players doubling, which is great. Nketiah, I think, was starting to bench. Cash away at Leicester, Ramsey away at Leicester as well. I'll be happy to bench, obviously, Lewis as well. You'd have, then going into game week 35, you would have the 1 transfer as well. Schmeichel's fixture, not that great, I have to say, but I think I'll just have to live with it given what he's got coming up later on as well. Davis possibly under Leicester. And you've got Nketiah and Mateta both with away fixtures, possibly not. I'd certainly want to play Cash and Ramsey at home to Norwich. I don't see the need to play a transfer there. So what I would be looking to do is just carry 2 transfers through to game week 36. And then you've got a full set, though, of double game week players. But you would have to make a transfer, otherwise you would lose it. So potentially you could try and set yourself up for 37. Maybe bring in another Palace player, and I think I've brought in that case we brought in Zaha, but for 37 again you still look pretty good. But if we go back to 36, you could possibly bring in a Zaha, maybe a Mitchell. You could bring 2 if you want. I think possibly I'll be going for Zaha, and possibly is it time to get rid of Son? Because he'd only have, but he's got Burnley at home in the next fixture. It's quite difficult, but you'd have your 2 transfers. What to do with them, really interesting. Free hit in 37, I mean, some of these fixtures look really nice, but you haven't got as many doubles, but you do have those transfers to sort of keep in your back pocket and use later on. I quite like the idea going back through 35, where you have your first transfers, you just don't need it. Your wildcard, I think this side is good enough just to carry through, but invariably something does happen. Some players will get booked, suspended, injured, rotation, things will be said, we'll find out things in press conferences. So it's useful to carry that transfer through to 36, I think. Whereas possibly, I mean, you've got a decision to make over Laporte. He's got a single game week. Do you play Nketiah or Davis instead? Again, you could decide nearer the time. You could bring in more Manchester City players who might be doubling that week. Who knows? So you can keep those free transfers and just kind of respond to it as it happens. And there's Zaha. I think Zaha's a great shout for game week 37. They just have 2 really good fixtures. Mateta, Zaha, possibly if you wanted another one, maybe Ben Davis and bring in Mitchell. Don't know, you could go down there. There's a possibility of also bringing Coutinho in if you wanted to. And then game week 38 looks pretty decent as well. You've got those 2 Liverpool players in. You've got 2 free transfers if you still want to carry one through. I would be dropping those Villa players away at Manchester City. I don't think they're going to get a lot there. But otherwise you've got... you've brought Zaha in if you wanted to. You could have kept Havertz in. And you'd have 3 against Watford. All sorts of options. But I think all the fixtures look really nice for the rest of the season. That's it for this one then, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments below what you think of your wildcard side. Are you tempted to bring any of these players in? Which ones do you think are essential? In the meantime, we'll be back with a team selection, maybe a deadline stream later on in the week. So in the meantime, don't forget to hit that subscribe, and good luck with the rest of your week, guys.